Saddam Hussein bows to UN demands under threat of military action. In Yugoslavia, a deadline passes, the ceasefire holds, and U.S. unemployment rises. But the news is not all bad. This is the CBS Evening News. Harry Smith sitting in tonight for Dan Rather. Good evening. Saddam Hussein is now promising to let United Nations inspectors look at all suspected nuclear facilities in Iraq. He made the pledge today in response to a written demand from the UN Secretary General and under a threat from President Bush of new U.S. military action. Mark Phillips has the latest from the White House.
It's as if a year and a war had not gone by. Once again, as President Bush was leaving the White House for a summer weekend, his staffers were threatening the use of force against Saddam Hussein if he did not comply with UN resolutions and allow for the inspection and destruction of Iraq's nuclear capability. The White House today underlined that it feels it has the right to use military force to take out Saddam's bomb-making capability if other means fail. Spokesman Roman Papaduk cited the original resolution authorizing every means necessary to preserve the peace and stability in the region. We have the right and the international groundwork for enforcing those resolutions, he said.
Well, I think what the administration hopes is that the threat of action will cause Saddam Hussein to fully cooperate with the UN in regard to the inspection and destruction of his weapons of mass destruction.
The refusal to allow a UN inspection team access to uranium-enriching equipment has only increased the skepticism over Saddam's latest promise to provide access in the future.
The latest Monday morning, Baghdad time, a comprehensive, accurate, exact list of all the material locations in Baghdad will be handed to the UN team.
If this turns into yet another Iraqi ploy, there would still be a lot of difficult diplomatic work necessary before any military action was taken. A UN Security Council informal session was called today. Administration sources say there is still what they call a lack of enthusiasm from certain members, particularly China and the Soviet Union. And contact has already begun with the original anti-Iraq coalition partners. And then there's the problem of finding what to attack. The equipment in question can and has been loaded onto trucks and moved around in what's becoming an ever more dangerous game of hide and seek, a game with which this administration is losing patience. Mark Phillips, CBS News, the White House.
In Yugoslavia, the army is talking tough to the rebel Republic of Slovenia, and the Slovenians are making some concessions. But they're not giving up their bid for independence or the key military positions they hold. Martha Teichner has our report from Slovenia.
It happened hours after the midnight deadline, but the Slovenians did release more than 2,000 Yugoslav army prisoners, as demanded by Yugoslavia's leaders. Slovenia is complying with some deadlines imposed on it yesterday. It is holding out on the big ones. By noon today, Slovenian militiamen were supposed to have cleared defensive barricades. In some places, they did, such as Ljubljana's airport, so that Yugoslav army tanks could be taken away. But in the city itself, and at what Slovenia terms combat positions, defenses remained in place. In Šentilj, near the Austrian border, the site of fierce fighting, Slovenian forces have actually been reinforced in the last 2 days. Militiamen have not been told to withdraw.
Have you had any new orders in the last 24 hours?
No.
Nobody's told you anything?
No.
Today, a senior Yugoslav general said Slovenia wasn't serious about the ceasefire. He warned that the army would fire back from now on if violations occurred. Militiamen controlling Slovenia's border posts say the army is looking for an excuse to resume the fighting, and it's likely to be here. They have been given until noon Sunday to leave, but have no intention of going.
Yes, we are ready to fight. No problem. We are ready for anything.
For Slovenia, controlling its international borders is the most symbolic display of its independence. Relinquishing control would be an admission that its struggle to free itself from Yugoslavia has failed. Martha Teichner, CBS News, at the Slovenian-Austrian border.
The Labor Department says unemployment edged up 0.1% last month to 7%. It hasn't been that high since 1986. Business correspondent Ray Brady looks at what the unemployment report may tell us about the prospects for economic recovery.
These are some of the 50,000 Americans who lost their jobs last month. City and state workers hit by budget cutbacks in Massachusetts and New York, now joining the ranks of the unemployed.
Do you want welfare?
Those layoffs, along with company cutbacks, sent unemployment to its highest rate in nearly 5 years. Still, there may be a silver lining in today's figures, says economist Donald Strassheim.
I don't think, though, people should conclude from the June employment data that the economy is still in recession. We've got a better-looking economy on our hands.
But if that's so, if the economy is recovering, why are giant companies like Shell Oil announcing more worker cutbacks? After all, factories are getting more orders, production's rising, even automobile sales are up. Economist Brian Fabry has one answer.
Business corporations are listening to the advice that the professionals are giving, and that is that the recovery is going to be slow, and therefore, let's not get too excited too quickly.
So instead of hiring, companies are lengthening the work week for existing workers, paying overtime and hiring part-time help. Not sure yet that the recovery's for real. So one place you may find a job is in a temporary employment agency like Cy K's.
In the last 6 weeks, we've seen a definite tick up for the better.
Even a part-time job is good news for physical therapist John Chang.
Well, it's definitely good to get a paycheck and help put the bread on the table. And it definitely comes in handy in a time, economy like this.
Personnel experts note that when companies do start hiring part-timers, it's usually a sign they'll soon want permanent workers once they're sure the recession's over.
But
Harry?
Ray,
Yes.
when does the job situation improve?
Well, business usually picks up in the fall, Harry, so we could see hiring, let's say, in late fall or early winter.
And what other signs can we look for that the recession is going to be over?
Well, Harry, in one survey out today, 83% of economists polled said they think the recession is over now, but there's still a sizable majority that say, look, there are still big problems hanging over this economy.
And if you are looking for a job, you know better. Ray Brady, thanks. 4 months after Los Angeles police were videotaped beating a motorist, a police officer in Fort Worth, Texas, is facing the possibility of criminal charges for beating a suspected car thief. And as James Hattori reports, once again, a camera was rolling.
The home video images are somewhat distant, but it's clear enough to Fort Worth police officials that Officer E.J. Parnell stopped on the side of a freeway Wednesday afternoon, struck a handcuffed prisoner with his baton as many as 28 times.
I think he acted improperly. I think he used excessive force. There was no threat of violence that we can tell on the part of the arrestee at the particular time the baton was used.
The prisoner, 21-year-old Ernest Anderson, was arrested on suspicion of auto theft shortly before the incident. Anderson was in the back seat of Parnell's squad car on the way to jail when police say he bashed out the rear window and attempted to escape.
The suspect, the arrestee in this incident, was not injured other than getting some minor scrapes and bruises. We don't believe he was ever struck about the head or the facial area.
Still, to police critics, this latest telltale home video again exposes a disturbing mindset among some officers.
They're taking the law in their own hands to mete out justice on the spot, acting as the arresting officer, as a judge, as a jury.
I simply cannot understand what appears to be a total loss of control and overreaction.
As it turns out, witnesses had stepped forward and police began investigating the alleged beating before the videotape surfaced. But officials concede without those graphic pictures, it would be difficult making a case against the officer. James Hattori, CBS News, Fort Worth.
Still ahead on tonight's CBS Evening News, Soviet Jews fighting deportation from Germany.
You just couldn't resist eating the last of that crunchy, sweet, crackling oat bran. How do you avoid being blamed? Hey, Tiger. You never saw Daddy eat the crackling oat bran.
Hiya, sweetie. You didn't eat all the crackling oat bran, did you?
With the crunchy, sweet taste of Kellogg's crackling oat bran, an open box is an empty box.
It's kind of throbbing, and sometimes my fingers get stiff as well.
Today, it isn't aspirin, it's Advil for minor arthritis pain.
Advil just really helps with the pain.
Advil, advanced medicine for pain.
I used to feel so guilty about snacking until I found the perfect snack. Sun-sweet pitted prunes. They're just bursting with flavor and so naturally sweet. Perfect. Only one prune tastes sun-sweet.
Soviet President Gorbachev today said Yugoslavia's slide toward civil war should serve as a warning to his own people. We cannot break apart, he said. Gorbachev was meeting with German Chancellor Helmut Kohl in Kiev in preparation for the London Summit of Industrialized Democracies, at which Gorbachev will be a guest. Germany is Moscow's main benefactor and creditor, and Kohl is said to be worried about the mounting cost of that and about a possible mass emigration of Soviets to the West if the Soviet Union collapses. Germany already has a problem with one group of Soviet emigres. They are Jews who say they would rather live in Germany than in Israel. Tom Fenton has their story.
It's Friday evening, the Jewish Sabbath. Ironically, these Soviet Jews are turning to the Christian church for support in their fight against the German government's efforts to deport them. They're getting little assistance from the local Jewish community. Olga Popovichev and her family went to Israel last year, but after only 9 months, left the promised land.
Я никогда туда не поеду.
I'll never go back there, she says.
Никогда.
Never.
Никогда.
She feels more at home in Germany than in Israel.
Мне не нравится.
I don't like the country's policy on the occupied territories, Olga says, and I don't want to be part of the battle between Arabs and Jews. Scattered around Berlin in refugee camps are 269 Soviet Jews who left Israel after a brief stay and are fighting a battle to become German citizens. Esther Margolin sees no problem for a Jew living in Germany despite its past.
Es ist so viel Zeit schon vergangen.
You can't carry a stone in your heart forever, she says. That was a long time ago. Esther came here because she heard Germans were accepting Soviet Jews, but found they weren't accepting Jews that came via Israel. It's all big politics, Esther says. Israel is putting pressure on Bonn not to accept us. They're scared that many more people will want to leave. The Gulf War was a tough time for Soviet Jews to emigrate to Israel, which already had an unemployment and housing problem. But Israeli officials see those who turn around and leave as traitors.
I believe that Israel is the homeland of all the Jews, and that a certain time comes when you want from one diaspora that you go home.
The Jewish refugees are clearly happier in Berlin, where city authorities have given them temporary refuge. The main concern of the Berlin government is bad publicity. Berlin wants the Olympic Games of the year 2000, and the last thing it needs is pictures being sent around the world of Jews being expelled from the land of the Holocaust. Berlin was where it all started, and the city authorities now find themselves in a dilemma. They don't want to anger the world again by deporting Jews, and don't want to anger Israel by keeping them. The city's interior minister also fears that if the government says yes, other refugees will flood into Germany. We have to consider the interests of the state, he says. But what about the interests of Igor Polyansky, a lonely 21-year-old from Leningrad?
We are not Soviet citizens now, and we are not Israel citizens too, so without any citizenship and no future, just to stay in Germany, we haven't any choice.
In the meantime, these wandering Jews are in limbo, hoping that the specter of Germany's past will make it possible for them to have a future here. Tom Fenton, CBS News, Berlin.
Fugitive cult leader Tony Alamo has been arrested in Tampa, Florida on child abuse charges. He had eluded police for 2 years. Alamo's cult gained notoriety in 1982 when he predicted that his late wife would rise from the dead. In other developments making news around the world tonight, the woman at the center of a right-to-live controversy has died of natural causes. Helga Wangley had been in an irreversible coma. She died yesterday, just days after her husband won a court case against doctors who wanted to remove her from life support. The National Organization for Women said it will fight the confirmation of Supreme Court nominee Clarence Thomas. The group says Thomas's views threaten women's rights, civil rights, and the right to privacy. And Nelson Mandela was unanimously elected president of the African National Congress. Mandela succeeds Oliver Tambo, who has been in poor health. Stay with us now for more news, including Eye on America. Tonight, people providing just the right medicine for an ailing neighborhood.
These days, there are more pain relievers than ever. But last year, more people switched to Tylenol gel caps than any other. Why should you switch? All the extra strength pain relief of gel caps has been concentrated, then covered by a smooth gelatin coating, which makes them so easy to swallow. Extra strength Tylenol gel caps. Concentrated, powerful, easy to swallow. Join the switch to Tylenol gel caps.
Accidents? I don't even think about them anymore.
Attends undergarments for the protection you want against the accidents you don't want. Attends has a snug, secure shape and fits high at the waist, not low. It also has a super absorbent pad built right in, like a pad within a pad, for outstanding absorbency. The absorbency you need for exceptional protection against leaks. Attends. For a free sample, call 1-800-4-ATTENDS.
With lower back pain, every step can send more pain to your lower back. Clinically proven BackGuard shoe inserts can help relieve lower back pain because BackGuard absorbs jarring foot shock with every footstep you take. BackGuard, only from Dr. Scholl's.
Today, you can get Maalox Strength in a snap. Maalox Plus tablets. So fast, if you take them now, they'll start working now. Maalox Plus tablets are fast stomach therapy.
The bullet went through his head.
A child pulls the trigger, accident or felony. Verdict tonight at 8.
Sky-high medical costs have put routine health care out of the reach of many Americans. In tonight's Eye on America, a new program that preaches a heal-yourself approach. Bob Schieffer reports on health care for the people, by the people.
A little street fair in one of Washington, D.C.'s toughest public housing projects.
Butterflies are nice and balloons.
But it is not just for fun. This is a new attempt to bring health care and education to people who just weren't getting it.
Oh, looking good, looking good, looking good.
Like dental checkups.
The female reproductive system.
And information about sex and peer pressure.
Teenage pregnancy in the District of Columbia is very high. So as a result, what we try to do is we teach abstinence.
It is all part of a program devised by Kimmy Gray, who convinced federal government officials that with an initial grant of just $35,000, she could put a new kind of health clinic in some of Washington's poorest public housing projects.
In public housing, you'll find that our major focus is on drugs, murders. But the highest killer is high blood pressure and heart attacks.
Ms. Gray, a political organizer who runs Kenilworth Parkside Public Housing, calls them health corners. What's different is the people in the neighborhood said no thanks to outsiders. They run them themselves.
You do not have to be a rocket scientist to work this program. Just be committed.
When you are as poor as the people in this neighborhood, you don't go to the doctor unless you're sick, really sick. The kind of preventive health care that most of us take for granted, annual physical exams, regular checkups by the dentist, just don't happen here. It costs more just to get to the doctor than many of these people can pay. Good nutrition is all but unknown.
You're going to feel a little prick here, okay?
So the health corners are bringing public health workers into the projects to give tetanus shots and childhood inoculations. They've taught local residents to give blood pressure screening and arrange cholesterol testing.
Mr. Lloyd, I find your blood cholesterol to be 273, and that's high.
Ronnie Streeter is unemployed.
You got assaulted?
Yeah, and had my nose broken.
This is the closest he'll get to a checkup. The dentist found an abscess and a problem with his bite caused by the assault and arranged for him to go to a free clinic to get it fixed. He got a tetanus shot and, for good measure, a cholesterol test. Health corner workers believe their emphasis on the local angle draws in people who wouldn't come to traditional clinics run by outsiders.
I think it works so much better because it's people that works in the community and the residents know the faculty that's coming out to serve them.
They might not trust people that came from another
No, I know they wouldn't.
Gladys Roy has diabetes.
I like for myself, I have sugar, so I like to get my pressure taken with second and my sugar or my blood taken, and I can get my pressure taken when I want to. So it's really convenient. I'm glad we have it.
That kind of praise has inspired a $6 million federal grant to test the health corner idea in other cities. Back at the health fair, the day ended with a performance by a street theater group rapping out an anti-drug message.
Smoking a pipe every night. You wake up in the morning and your pocket is light.
For sure, it's not an easy sell, but at the least, this little show is open. And who knows, it could go on the road to other cities. Bob Schieffer, CBS News, Washington.
Coming up next, a music craze for a new generation, mixing rock and Bach.
We've just found a way to make Nabisco spoon-sized shredded wheat even better. Every shredded wheat biscuit is now toastier and crispier because each is toasted through and through. It's almost like we let each little biscuit have its very own great day in the sun. Wake up to Nabisco shredded wheat. It tastes like it's sun-toasted.
A1, it's how steak is done.
Poison ivy, insect bites, rashes. Too many choices.
You only need one. Cordade.
Stop the itch and heal the rash with a brand doctors recommend most.
Present Arms.
Cortade, the only aid you need.
I'd like to share a great letter and a great improvement in Depend. Listen, dear Jim.
When my grandson won his baseball championship, I was so proud. And I couldn't have been there without Depend.
Now Depend introduces a unique system of double-layered protection. Absorb Lock Plus. The top layer absorbs, the quilted layer locks liquid in.
June, thanks for one great day at the ballpark.
Isn't that terrific? Get back into life.
One of America's oldest golf championships, played on one of the PGA's toughest golf courses, the Santel Western Open, this weekend.
Roll over, Beethoven. Tell Tchaikovsky the news. Classical music has a new look in London, and a new generation loves it. Barry Peterson reports.
Anna Cecile has a dream that someday she will play fine classical music with a great orchestra, be a star. But sedate and serious is not the way to stardom in the classical world these days. She must play with power. Today's classical music is being marketed like rock and lit with lasers. The London Chamber Orchestra abandoned the stuffed shirt crowd for those used to standing room only. Power concerts, they call them. Classical music wired for a new generation.
Trying to take it out of a glass case and a museum piece and put it back in the hearts of the people.
It's just the latest in the trend. Dame Curie brought the music of Handel to millions at the royal wedding. Pavarotti pitched opera at the World Cup. The world rushed out to buy more. The movie Platoon put Samuel Barber's music back on the shelf. The fact that Mozart and his friends are suddenly making it big has wiped a smug smile off the pop music world and put it firmly on the face of the classical folk. Sales of this previously stuffy stuff are up a dizzying 25%. Serious music is now serious business. All of this is music to the ears of the promoters, who say the young are leading the charge to classical music, and it's not just a passing blip on the charts. The man leading the new millions into the classical fold is violinist Nigel Kennedy, who at first glance looks like he walked into the wrong concert. A child prodigy, he now has a mission, bringing in the young who once thought a concert hall was a place for elitists and no place for them.
Because of the way that
society is structured, it means that they see classical music as being something they can't get their hands on either.
Does it work? Ask his fans.
It's more of a 90s bloke rather than, 1860 kind of thing.
His image is as carefully styled as any rock musician. From the outlandish hair to the working class accent to the French champagne and the 3-day beard. And his stage door following is the envy of any good rock star. Remember, this is a guy who plays Vivaldi for a living. His performance of the Four Seasons made it to #3 on the pop charts.
A lot of other people feel more comfortable listening to the music when it's presented in a slightly less elitist way.
And if the purists weren't disconcerted enough, Nigel Kennedy's latest offering is a multi-image music video. Brahms for the eye, as well as for the ear. Barry Peterson, CBS News, London.
That's the CBS Evening News. Bob Schieffer will be here tomorrow. I'm Harry Smith, sitting in for Dan Rather. Good night and have a good weekend.
If you're looking to maintain regularity, look here. There's a drug-free way to do it, and Kellogg's All Brand can be an important part, because a high-fiber diet, including Kellogg's All Brand, can give you the fiber you need to help stay regular, drug-free. And All Brand goes a lot better with berries. A high-fiber diet and Kellogg's All Brand for drug-free regularity.
They've got Coleman coolers on sale. I love camping out.
Oh, yeah, hot dogs.
Nature walk.
Cold beer.
Fresh air.
Potato salad.
Say, are we going to camp out or pig out?
Hey, look what I just found.
Oh, Duracell batteries are on sale. I had to take the batteries out of my camera and the flash and my calculator and give them to the kids for their tape players.
These are the sacrifices parents have to make.
Because some aches and pains don't go away when the lights go out, we've created new Tylenol PM, specially formulated with extra-strength Tylenol pain reliever for those aches and pains that can keep you up at night, plus a gentle ingredient to help you sleep, so you can wake up refreshed in the morning. From the name you trust comes new Tylenol PM, so you can rest easy.
My dad had ulcers, so when my stomach started acting up, I was afraid to go to the doctor. But finally, I went. Was I relieved when my doctor said Mylanta? He said it was indigestion, not an ulcer, and my kind of indigestion called for a strong medicine.
Mylanta is strong medicine, strongly recommended. In fact, Mylanta is the antacid doctors recommend most.
My doctor said Mylanta.
Now available in cherry and cool mint cream flavors.
This is CBS.